Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ChuggieBets pod. I am Andy, and I am joined today by Al, Matt, and Danny. Before we get anything kicked off here, let's chug a beer. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Who's ready to chug some beers and make some bad gambling picks? Welcome to ChuggieBets.
All right, good stuff. So last week, I actually won the week with a 6-3-1 week. So hopefully you listened to me and ignored these other jabronis over here. That's going to give me a chuggy to hand out at some point during the podcast. But otherwise, let's go ahead and jump right into the picks. First game of the week is actually Friday night. Matt, super curious to know what you think about this because I have a play, and I'm actually fading your Knowles. I'm taking Louisville plus 2.5. Louisville had some issues with running quarterbacks in weeks 1 and 2, but that's not really Jordan Travis's thing. He can run some, right, but he's not going to run as much as the guys they played against. So I think Louisville figured some stuff out on defense, and I'm taking them plus the points. What do you think?
Yeah, so Louisville's been like a venerable house of horrors when Florida State goes into town. In 2016, they lost by 60. And that was under Jimbo Fisher. The last two times that they've played in Louisville, they've lost by like a combined 90 points. So it's not been a very good place for them to play over the past. I do think Florida State's better than Louisville, though. I think Florida State's going to get to do what they want to do, which is just run the ball. Watching them play run defense against UCF ran the dumbest plays ever. They didn't run any traditional zone, any counter. They just ran like weird like quarterback sprints, sideways passes. It was unusual. That being said, actually, I'm not going to take a pick. I do think Florida State wins, and I think they cover the 2.5. But I don't have enough confidence to wager on it. But gun to my head, that would be my choice. Right. And I never bet Florida State. I always bet against them. You guys know this.
Yeah, I don't really like that game.
Was that
it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be real nitpicky. And Malik Cunningham kills Florida State all the time. So we'll find out.
All right. So that takes us into Saturday. And Al, you've got our first pick for Saturday. Georgia going to South Carolina. What do you got?
Okay. So I'm a big-time believer that Spencer Rattler's a huge fraud. You put him up against a Bulldogs defense that is the best in the nation. I'm going to take the Bulldogs 1,000 times out of 1,000. So I'm laying the 24.5. The only real question is whether Georgia's going to score 25 points. I think they are. I also have a second play on that game. That's under 52. That total's way too high. South Carolina would have to score, 20 points for that to hit. So I see this as like a 35-10 game or something like that. So give it to me. Georgia in the under. Easy money.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's the call, right? There was a 14-point game going to Arkansas. Like they lost by 14. Arkansas is missing like all of their pass defense. Everyone's hurt for the year or they went to the draft. And Arkansas beat them handily, right? The game shouldn't have been that close. So I think you're probably right. That's probably the right side there, bud.
Yeah, thanks.
Well,
Danny,
I'm not making a pick for the pod, but I'm on the other side of that. You guys know I love taking lots of points with the worst team. What's the line? 24.5. That's 3 touchdowns and a field goal. That's just too much. That's just too much. Like I said, I'm not making an official pick, but I'll definitely be betting it for myself.
So Andy, how many points do you think South Carolina is going to put up on Georgia's defense?
That's what I'm saying.
13, 17, something like that.
17.
If it stays under, that covers, right? 17 covers if it stays under.
So 17 is what you think they're going to do on Georgia's defense. I would take the team total under on 17. If it's not coming out at 17, it's going to come out at like 6.5 or something.
If the team total's at 14, I'm smashing the under. Smashing them. Like I don't see them getting 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, what's that work out to based on the spread? It's going to be like at least 2 touchdowns, right?
14.
Plus, good radio. Let's all do math in our heads.
14 and 25 is 39. Yeah, so it's going to be, they got it more like closer to 20. So yeah, no, under whatever the team total is for South Carolina. If you can find it, that's a play too. Don't care what it is.
All right, Danny, I think you got our next pick. UConn's going to Michigan. What do you got for us there?
So, Jim Harbaugh's got Michigan playing great. I mean, granted, there hasn't been much competition. I believe they've gone to they've played Hawaii and Colorado State, both at home, and they've scored 50 points both times. I think that UConn's worse than both of those teams, which is hard to do, but UConn is worse than both of those teams. So Michigan can probably get to 60. I think they'll cover that 46.5. I know one of their running backs is out, but they got 3 guys that have already ran for like 100 yards this year. So I don't think having one of them take a rest for this game is really going to slow them down that much. Their team is just they're just better, and they're going to run all over. They're going to run all over UConn. So
here's a fun game: UConn versus Hawaii. Who wins and by how much? Say neutral field. Say it's like in Nevada, somewhere in between the two.
Hawaii.
We had one of those. We had one of those last year, didn't we? Where who did UConn play? That was like the
UMass.
Yeah, UConn UMass. It was the UConn UMass game, and did UConn won, right?
Did we take the under in that game? Because it just smells like we should have taken the under in that game.
I feel like I beat Andy in that one, right? Because I took UConn to win or something like that. I don't know.
I feel like we were on the same side, and we both lost. But I don't remember for sure.
Yeah,
right.
That actually sounds like the way it would have gone.
I think football lost that day. The sport.
Yeah.
I think that takes us to our next game where, Andy, you have a game where, shocker, you're taking a ton of points.
Yeah, exactly. I actually did really well last week going against my norm. I took a bunch of favorites and laid the points, but I don't care about that. I'm following the numbers, and I think it's just too many points again. Both teams lost in week 1 to really good SEC teams. I shouldn't say really good, decent, solid SEC teams. And then they beat up on FCS teams in week 2. Neither one of them has shown me anything that would make me think that Cincinnati should be a 21.5 point favorite. I think they're trading off of name recognition. 2 weeks ago, Danny and I sat here and said, take Cincy. They're not going to drop off that much. I think we might have been wrong. I think they may have dropped off more. And just from what they've seen this year, I don't see 21.5 point difference between these two teams.
They're still better than Miami, Ohio. 21.5 is a lot. If that were 20.5, I would probably lay it. 21.5, I probably won't.
Yeah, I would lean Cincy on this line, but I don't really like it. Cincinnati doesn't have a reason to beat Miami of Ohio by a ton of points, but they sure can. So I don't know. I don't have a reason.
So Michigan doesn't have a reason to beat UConn by 50, but they're going to beat UConn by 50.
Yeah.
Well, that could just happen by accident, though. Like, that's. All right, I think we're sticking with me. The next game is Oklahoma at Nebraska. I'm taking Nebraska plus 14. Oklahoma's 2-0. They have 2 blowout wins, but their wins were against UTEP and Kent State. And then we all know how Nebraska's season is going, but I'm going to say addition by subtraction, getting rid of Scott Frost. I saw videos coming out today of Nebraska fans, Nebraska students cheering Scott Frost being fired. I think this will be a relief for the team. I think they're going to play harder with him gone and without the distractions. And they're getting 14 points at home. So I'm taking the points, and I'm hoping that Scott Frost being gone turns things around.
That line stinks, dude.
I don't think Scott Frost being gone is going to turn Nebraska around, but I do think that it does happen sometimes where you get that first game kind of bump. So I think Nebraska has a shot to cover this game or make this a better game than people think. But we'll see how that goes. I like the pick, Andy. I like the pick.
Yeah, I was saying to Andy beforehand that this seems like a good first loss letdown spot. Maybe not loss, but for Venables, I feel like he's got the inflated head, off to a good start. He thinks this head coach gig is easy. Have Nebraska come ruin his day.
All right, that sends us to Matt. And Matt, I love this pick. Tell us what you got on Western Kentucky and Indiana.
Yeah, Western Kentucky's pretty good. I don't think Indiana's that good. I think in a head-to-head situation, in my opinion, Western Kentucky's the better team. They have a pretty dynamic offense. Indiana, outside of the weird game that they played against Illinois, has done nothing to impress me to this point. I take the 6.5 and just laugh it all the way to the bank. I think this is a really good one to keep an eye on for a money line. If you want to sprinkle a little money line or do a little round robin action, I would keep an eye on this game.
What's the plus money on that? 6.5 is going to be like 2 something.
220.
Yeah,
That's good.
all right, Matt. I like it. I don't even know a thing about Western Kentucky, but you sold me on it.
Yeah, it's just I've been underwhelmed with Indiana, and I think Western Kentucky has slept on. I think we all learned you can't sleep on Sun Belt and Conference USA teams, right? If anything we learned from last weekend, these teams are good. You know, Marshall's going to Notre Dame, App State's going to Texas A&M. I think those teams are far better than Indiana, right? Western Kentucky only being a 6.5 point dog on the road stinks. That line smells bad. I'm going to take the action.
Love it. That brings us to Danny. Buffalo at Coastal Carolina. What you got?
So, love Grayson McCall. I think he's basically put up 30 touchdowns combined rushing and throwing each of the last 2 seasons with only a couple of turnovers.
Video game numbers.
Yeah, exactly. And I think in a game like this where he's going to Buffalo, I think that he'll just keep that trend going where he's not going to turn the ball over and he's going to keep the team scoring. I think he's going to keep the offense moving. I think that they're just going to roll. So I think that having an experienced quarterback, this is his third year as a starter, 4th year on the team. He played a couple of games his freshman year, so I don't think he got a red shirt there. But so this is his 4th year playing. Experienced quarterback against a bad team early in the season. I just feel like they're going to roll.
Yeah, I don't hate it. That moves us to Ohio at Iowa State, and guess what? Andy's laying a shit ton of points.
I don't even need to talk about this.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't even need to talk about this one that much. It's just too many points. Iowa State is a better team. It's not in question, but 21.5 is a lot of points, and I'm taking them. That's all I got.
Yeah, it's good. It's been a good strategy for you, so I'm sure it'll pay out.
Al, looks like you're up next. Rutgers at Temple.
Yeah. Basically, anytime I look over the college football schedule and I see a game that I don't want to watch a second of, my first thought goes, let me take the under. What's this total at? So Rutgers and Temple, 2 teams that you could not pay me to watch. Totals at 44. Give me the under. Which team's going to score 20 points? I don't know. I wouldn't bet on either of them. So give me the 44 points and hope it hits so I look smart. That takes.
I like it. I think if there's a play, I think I'm going to follow you down that rabbit hole. It's going to be a stinky ass rabbit hole, but I think it's the play there. Those teams are bad, man.
Yeah, it sounds like one of those ones.
Worst. Go ahead.
It sounds like one of those ones where the total could be at like 40 in like middle third quarter, and you're like, oh, this is busting, and then you just get like an hour straight of no scoring. And it ends up hitting by a field goal. So I like those unders. That's a fun one.
It's going to be a messy one. I'll take the next game. I see Southern Alabama, USA. Huge money line winner, by the way. Andy, you're talking about your record over there earlier. Versus UCLA. Look, I got it at 13.5. I laid the 13.5 with UCLA. The only thing that is making me cautious is why the hell is it starting at 11 a.m. in Los Angeles? If anything, that's an advantage to USA. It's ridiculous. But I think they're going to be riding. I think they're going to like the smell of their own shit a little bit, USA coming into this game, and they're going to get taught by Chip Kelly. And the offense that he can run there, DRT is still really good, and I think 13.5 is the play. Now, I think the line may have moved to 15.5. Don't know if I like it as much there, but if it gets back to 14, I'd hit it again. But I think that's the easy play. I think USA is going to be a little overhyped with a relatively big win for the USA program. I hate saying USA and feeling like I'm rooting against them. Try that again.
Yeah.
The Southern Alabama program. But I
Now
think
you're just
UCLA is
anti-South.
No, yeah, maybe I am. Maybe.
I looked at this game and my first thought was, ooh, this smells like possible money line action on South
Ooh.
Alabama. Then I was like, let me temper it a little bit, okay? Because like you said, they got DRT, love him, big fan, mobile, dynamic quarterback. That's always going to be tough for any small school to contend with. You've got USA heading west for the game. So there's things like that I don't know. I don't really feel good about them pulling off the upset.
They just caused a big upset last week.
Yeah, are they going to do 2 in a row? I don't know.
Yeah.
Doubt it. So, if it were alternate universe, I would probably love taking South Alabama money line here, but I'll just hope they keep it close. Although,
yeah, I'm trying to go with the
maybe
Andy
not
thing
within
of
14
fading.
for Matt's sake.
I'm trying to go with the Andy thing of fading teams that won last week, right? Teams that were relatively unexpected. And I'm curious to see if more than like 12 people are in the crowd. Look, Miami gets a bad rap for people in the crowd. I don't know if you've seen those UCLA crowds. They're friggin' dreadful.
It's not even college out there. Like
Bad
the
rap.
Rams, when the Rams hosted the Bills outnumbered the Rams fans. It's like,
Dude, it's
know.
bad. That UCLA
Yo-
game, the stadium is sparse. Sorry, Danny. Go ahead. Go ahead. Give it to
The
me.
cameras face the side of the stadium that's in the sun. Everybody's sitting in the shade on the other side, right?
Dude, I get it. I get
big
it.
conspiracy,
But isn't
huh?
there a roof? Isn't there a roof for these situations?
The roof covers us when we're in the top. When you're in the bottom and you're close to the field, you're in the sun still because it doesn't block the players from being in the sun.
I mean, it's unusually hot, right? Grills are lighting on fire in the parking lot for football games.
Cars
so
are
I
exploding.
understand.
Our pets' heads are falling off.
I got to tell you, it was really hot. It was really hot at the game on Saturday. It was really hot.
God, at noon, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, we only lasted a half. The girls were. I mean, they're 1-3. They're ready to go.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
How many actual live plays did you watch from your seat, Danny?
I was there. I was in my seat for the entire second quarter and the second half of the first quarter. First quarter.
That's a win.
Yes. I had to leave, or sorry, not the whole second half of the first quarter. I had to leave before the first quarter ended to go to the potty.
It happens. You were there for the suspenseful part of the game before, like, you realize, like, hey, we're Miami. Let's just kick the shit out of.
Yeah, we were watching on the phone while we were driving home, and we were yelling touchdown a lot from from the car ride home.
See, in my head, I was picturing kids sleeping in the back seat and you listening to touchdowns on the radio and being like, "This is how you watch a game."
No, girls were awake. We kept them awake till we got home, so they'd fall asleep right then.
There you go. Nice, perfect. What's next on the docket here? Are we sticking with Matt and Cal Notre Dame?
I'm going to continue to fade Cal. Last week, I faded them beautifully with UNLV. I went on here and I bored Danny to death with my UNLV coverage. And I'm going to do it again. I don't think Cal's very good, right?
You're right.
Notre Dame has been – look, everyone's crapping on Notre Dame right now. It's an easy punching bag because they're like a media darling, NBC, all that. They're going to get their win this weekend. I'm a little worried because I didn't know Buckner was going to be out for the whole rest of the season, their starting quarterback, and they're going to go to Drew Pine, who obviously can't be good enough, and their offense has been bad with Buckner. So I'm much more worried about it now. But, hey, I'm invested, and we're going with it. I'm laying the 10.5. Cal's not going to do anything against that defense. Notre Dame's defense is pretty good. Marshall ran a perfect system against them. Cal can't run that system against them. It is done. This is either going to be an under, and I think the number's at 41, and that may be worth eyeballing an under, which is a terrible, terrible result. But I don't see Cal getting 14 points in this game.
You never know with backup quarterbacks, too.
Yeah, the Cal defense is the only thing that kept me from laying the points here because I feel like Notre Dame's this is a get-right game for Notre Dame, right? But I don't know.
Freeman needs the win. Freeman needs this win, and he's going to get it. This is going to be the win for him. Yeah. I mean, Marshall should have been.
I don't know if it's going to be by 11 or more.
Yeah, I just feel like this is going to be one of those get right. We're going to go put it on him a little bit.
Come out, balls on fire.
Yeah. All right, So let's throw it over to my beloved UNLV running Rebels versus North Texas. And I think Andy has a play here.
I do, and I'm fading your beloved UNLV. I actually think the wrong team is favored here. I think North Texas has been okay this year. And if I can get them taking the points, I'm going to do it. Probably sprinkle a little on the money line here as well. So I'm on North Texas plus 2.5.
I think that's a good Andy. I think North Texas, they can run the ball and they can score points, and that's a couple of things that leads to winning. In winning games, you can, and so I don't know. I like it.
I can see from Danny's face he doesn't, but it's all right.
I honestly just don't want to watch that game, so I don't care.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Matt, what do you got for us on Vanderbilt going to Northern Illinois? Huskies.
I don't really have much about Vanderbilt going to Northern Illinois, except I think Vanderbilt's the better team. I think they've been playing pretty well. We all watched them go to Hawaii and win. I mean, they barely beat Elon, which isn't a great sign. And they got spanked by Wake Forest last week, but they got Hartman. I love that number. I love that game to be a lot more competitive. But Clausen in a deep mesh, stupid offense that allows Hartman to hold the ball for 4 seconds and then throw it, they got crushed by it. I don't believe in Northern Illinois this year, and I think if Vanderbilt is going to be really aggressive to try to get some over win totals, they need to get this win because this may be the last win that they have on the schedule this year. I think they're going to come out and they're going to play well. I would take the plus 1.5. I'd take a money line. It doesn't really matter. But I think Vanderbilt's a better team here.
You don't see Vanderbilt winning the SEC?
I don't see Vanderbilt winning SEC game.
All right.
Yeah.
So I've got Vanderbilt's season win total at over 2.5. They've got their 2. Am I going to win my bet?
Ooh.
I think you're going to win your bet and barely. I don't. Maybe South Carolina.
There's got to be one SEC game on their schedule they can win, right?
Okay, here you go.
Did you see the way Florida played this weekend? Did you see the way Florida played this weekend?
Is it? Do you think it'll be at Alabama?
No.
Ole Miss at home? No. Georgia at Georgia?
No.
Missouri, not
Maybe.
the worst option at Missouri. At Missouri, South Carolina at home, maybe.
That's
Kentucky, Florida, Tennessee are the last 3, and they're not winning them.
Yeah.
Those are all winnable games, just not for Vanderbilt.
Yeah, yes, that's true. Kentucky can win any of those games.
Exactly. Like a good ACC team. A good ACC team could win those SEC games, right?
Yes.
But not Vanderbilt, because they'd be like a bad ACC team.
And I really want the Commodores to cover. I just think this is going to be your win. And Andy, I'm praying for you, buddy. You're going to need this one. You're going to be resting on Vanderbilt's shoulders to get some cash, and it's going to happen this week, hopefully.
Yep.
Did you get plus money on that 2.5? That's a.
Let me see.
They only had 3 wins on the schedule.
Plus 2.5. I did. I got plus 110.
Okay. That's actually a pretty good bet at plus money, I think, because they could win these first 3 games. And I guess you knew Hawaii was going to be terrible.
I was counting on it. If you go back to week 0, I cautioned Al.
It's always tough to determine how bad we're talking when we say awful. Are we talking like gonna get blown out by 60 to Vandy, or like gonna keep pace with Vandy? Awful.
Yeah. In fairness, I didn't think Hawaii was gonna be that bad.
If we're gonna play the transitive property like we did last week, then I think Vanderbilt could beat Michigan based on the Hawaii scores.
Wow, I think they can. This is the year, buddy.
Wow.
This is their year.
All right, you heard it here. Vanderbilt's making the playoff.
I know we're not betting on this game, but can we talk?
Vandy's winning the Big Ten.
Do you guys have thoughts on the Penn State-Auburn game? I know we're going to blow past it, but it's one of the primetime games on the schedule. I know Auburn did the look-ahead, classic look-ahead last week when they won by 4 points against San Jose State, which it was a classic trap. A lot of people were.
San Jose State's one of those teams. San Jose State's one of those teams. They can shock you.
They're not to be trifled with.
I hate that this game's in Jordan-Hare because I feel like if it was at Penn State, I would like Penn State -3. It being at Auburn, I don't want either side.
I think Penn State is so much better. than Auburn. I mean, Penn State didn't show much at Purdue, right? Like they won the
Right.
game. Kudos to them, but they didn't
Auburn
look.
Auburn doesn't have that guy. They don't have a guy. You gotta
They
have a
don't.
guy to beat ranked teams. They don't have a guy.
I make
I
this
don't
game
think
a
they have it.
touchdown. Penn State -7. So the line's at Penn State -3. I have it on my maybe card, so I'll probably bet it before we get to the weekend. But
Depends on how the games go in the noon slate.
yeah,
And Penn State can play on the road, right? I don't think of them as being like a Big Ten team that can't handle the SEC crowds. They have a friggin' crazy crowd at Happy Valley. They play Ohio State and Michigan every year, and they're not like that. I don't see them being phased outside of maybe the weather. I don't know what the weather will be like in Auburn, Alabama at 3 o'clock. It could be hot as hell. But outside of that, I see Penn State being able to handle this game. I just don't feel confident enough. But I will. I'll find it some way.
This is absolutely going to be the game I'm going to have on the TV in the 3:30 window, and I will be betting the first quarter under because those are the kind of stupid bets I make throughout the day. I will probably after that, after the first quarter under hits, because it definitely will, even if it's like 0 points, I would take it at half a point. I might take shutout first quarter for plus money if it's available, and then I will probably be looking for the Penn State team over in the first half once the second quarter starts, if I can find that on a live line. If depending on the the type of live lines they're given on the big game, you never know what they're going to give you for college football that week. But if it's there, I'm going to take that on the live line once the second quarter starts.
I agree with that, actually. I think this is a live bet play. If Auburn goes up at home, look, we watched Texas, Alabama last week. A home team can do some crazy things when you don't expect it. But if Auburn gets like a 3-point lead, I'm going to smash the hell out of the line. 5.
My dad didn't text me once. My dad didn't text me once about that game.
Wow.
Can't believe it.
I can't
Probably
believe
sitting
it
on
either.
his hands, praying.
One more game I'm really eyeballing here is Minnesota, Colorado. I don't know if you guys have had the audacity or the misfortune of watching Colorado play. They are awful. I think they got beat by Colorado State by a big number. I don't know if you can back me up here, Andy, but they're getting beat by everyone. Minnesota, when they play teams like New Mexico, like hold them to a shutout, the number's at 28. It's probably good. I would probably lay the 28. And if it gets to 27.5, I'm definitely going to lay it. I'm playing with that idea a little bit. Minnesota's pretty good at home, and Colorado is dreadful. Dreadful.
Yeah.
Just so you know, Colorado's been blown out by both TCU and Air Force. Air Force found a way to 41 points.
Air Force is good. They're good. They may win West. They're really good this year.
But I'm pretty sure they like threw for 200 yards in this game. I'm not going to pull up the box score or anything. Actually, you know what? I'm pulling up the box score.
Yeah. And by the way, I meant to tell you, UConn did win the UConn. No. Sorry, UMass won the football game 27-13. 27.
Yes, Air Force threw for 8 yards. I remembered perfectly that they threw for a bunch of yards. 8 yards. One of 5 for 8 yards.
Air Force is really good at running the ball, which is hilarious considering
Brad Roberts, 24 carries, 174 yards.
I know
Colorado
this is off topic here, gentlemen, but since we're recording on Monday night, the Broncos just missed a 64-yard field goal by a hair to the left. Had the leg. Seahawks are going to win, and I'm going to hit my Seahawks under parlay. So nice. And Russell Wilson, it looks sad.
Does that mean both legs of my of my parlay missed?
Yes, sir.
Well, you were on Broncos in the over.
No. I was on Broncos and Cowboys, so fade me on the NFL night games.
Do we have any other 3:30 slate games?
Yeah, we got a big one. The other big game of the weekend, I think Al or Andy has some action on BYU Oregon.
It's Al.
Yeah, I do. This is like lock of the century #1 this week. Laying the points, Oregon -3.5. I'm hoping we get a lot more of the Eastern Washington Bo Nix than the playing against Georgia Bo Nix. I think that's a little more true of the actual result we'll see. And I think BYU is getting a ton of favorability here based on their exciting finish in overtime against Baylor. but I think they're going to be outclassed here by a bigger school, better players, more talent. So,
and it's a
Play
big
the
deal
point.
when they don't play at Provo. When they play at Provo, they're a lot tougher team. When it's a whiteout because everyone in the crowd's a whiteout. It's a very tough team to play at BYU. They're still missing both of their top wide receivers, and they played a hell of a game. I mean, if you follow ChuggieBets, you knew that was my late night chase, and it was money.
that was my chuggy bet last week, was the over in that game. And all I needed was a goddamn Baylor touchdown in that last overtime, and I would have hit it. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a Barstool guy, but I know a lot of people are. Some of my buddies were sending me. I guess Barstool Big Cat was on the over as well, and he was live tweeting it, and it was pretty entertaining. So at least I got entertainment value out of that play, even if it missed.
It was unbelievable game. It was fun to watch. But yeah, I like playing Oregon here. I don't know if Andy or Danny have a lean here.
No lean. I would lean towards, if I had to, fading Oregon because I don't really like their new coach.
All right, we got to take off.
We're in the 5 o'clock window, and we've got Liberty, Wake Forest, and I think Andy and Danny both have plays on that one.
Yeah, you can go first, Andy. Yeah, you can go first, Andy.
All right, so I know Sam Hartman's back. I know he looked incredible last week against Vandy, threw for hundreds of yards, but that's Vandy, and we just talked about how Vandy is not that good.
300.
Yeah, and 4 touchdowns, I think.
4.
Yeah,
4 touchdowns.
Good, dude. It's really good.
But this is a lot of points again. 16.5 is just too many points for this.
One of those touchdowns was a 68-yarder.
Yeah, fluky. Exactly. Thank you for making my point here. 68-yard touchdown. That's a fluky play. It's not easily repeatable.
I'm pretty sure he's done that like 40 times in his career. By the way, he's been playing since I think we were in college.
So Danny, tell me why you don't like it. Why you're under
Sam Hartman. This is like his 9th year as quarterback of Wake. Dave Clawson, has he been there as long as Dave Clawson? I mean, Dave Clawson's been there a while too, actually.
Unbelievable long time. He's been there forever.
He's been there since they were bad. I can't believe that they let him. They actually saw his vision and let him turn it around, and it's working. Yes, way to go, Wake, for like letting Dave Clawson actually sit there and turn it around. So Sam Hartman, just looking at last week, 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. Last year he threw for like 40 touchdowns or something like that. Another experienced quarterback going against a bad team. They're gonna roll. They scored 45 points in both of their first 2 weeks. They're gonna score 40, 50 points against Liberty. Their defense isn't nearly as good as Michigan's. It's not going to keep them to 5, but that's why this isn't a 50-point line. That's why it's a 17-point line, and they're going to cover it easily by 3 touchdowns. So.
Yeah, and if you guys haven't watched Wake Forest play before, they run that deep mesh where they hold the ball for 3 seconds. And no one knows who has the ball, and it's always the name to watch here is A.T. Perry. He's going to have a touchdown or 2, and he's always running open, running the post. I don't think anyone should watch this game. There's better football games on, but Wake is really fun to watch. Dave Clawson has been given a lot of forgiveness and some time to find his offensive system. And they're fun and sneaky handsome, Sam Hartman. Just for anyone who's watching with their wives, girlfriends, boyfriends at home, it's time.
Great beard.
Great beard.
Yeah.
Do not disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a handsome man. He looks like a dad. He looks like a young dad.
He's not that young. He might be like 26 or something. He's literally played there. I think he started the game. I think he started the game in 2016 or something like that.
He's old for a college football quarterback. He's young for a dad, if that's the case.
Sam Hartman is 23 and he has grandkids. It's crazy. No, he's 23 though.
The kind of guy you'd see chugging a beer at a lake.
He does have 5 starting. He does have 5 years where he was the starter for Wake, though. 5 years where he was a starter of like more than 5 games for Wake.
He is like Christian Ponder 2.0. Like if you took Christian Ponder is very mediocre looking. If you made everything better, you get Sam Hartman. Look at his face.
Oh, maybe like 2.3.
It's like 3.0.
Like that was Ponder's wife. podcast, but like you're not going to do a whole lot better than Sam.
I'm not hating on Sam Ponder. I was not. Everyone knows
As a
Christian
media
Ponder
personality,
2.0,
as a
but
media
beta,
personality
beta,
is what I was
in beta
getting at
mode.
there.
delightfully skilled and not bad to look at. Good on you, Christian Ponder. But Sam Hartman's a very much better looking version of him, and a much more talented quarterback.
Yeah.
A very talented quarterback. Yeah. I don't know why he didn't go pro, but I guess it's hard to get a degree from Wake Forest, so he wanted to stay.
I think he's going to be all right. I think he may get some looks.
I feel like Christian
and
Ponder and Blake Bortles are the same guy that just ended up in different, like, winnable situations.
Are you saying as far as college quarterbacks or personalities? Because Blake Bortles is awesome. I don't think Christian Ponder is that cool.
College and
there's no
NFL quarterbacks.
Oh, it's like the way they played it in college. No, I don't think Christian Ponder could run like Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles was like
Ponder
elite
could
athlete.
run.
No, but Blake
I
Bortles
think
was like an elite athlete.
comparable. Bortles just had a better situation.
I
Better
really
than
think you're
Jacksonville?
I really think you're underrating Blake Bortles' athleticism. He was like an elite athlete.
Oh, he had a better arm for sure than Ponder.
Guys,
he had a much stronger arm.
You're skipping over Al saying that Jacksonville was a better situation than somewhere else.
Than the Vikings?
Listen, man, 2017, that Jags defense was the best in the league. Was the all-time defense.
That's
So
fair.
I'm saying
That's fair.
He did make a championship game. I don't know if Ponder played like 20 games for Minnesota.
They picked a quarterback to replace him like 2 years later.
Yeah, because he sucked. He
yeah,
sucked.
that happened.
Well,
EJ
good
Manuel,
call,
another
Ponder.
FSU reject, or no?
Oh,
Was
EJ
that
Manuel
somewhere
went to
else?
Buffalo. It was
right.
was it the Louisville guy that's still
Teddy
the Miami's
Bridgewater?
backup right now? Yeah, was it Bridgewater that replaced him?
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
TBH2O.
Yep.
What's the next
All right.
game here? We got Marshall Bowling Green.
Yeah,
Oh
Matt,
my
take
god, I
one.
can't believe two of you have a fucking play on this game.
This is
Go ahead.
This is the
You
most
go ahead.
simple logic I could give you. Marshall went to Notre Dame and won the game. They're going to love the smell of their shit. They're like, we're going to go to Bowling Green and smoke.
Okay.
I think it's going to be close. I
Same
think
thing, Andy?
Yeah, and
That's
the
it.
line's inflated because of that. People see,
Yeah.
oh, Marshall beat Notre Dame. They're really good. Let's
I'm
bet
with you on
Marshall.
this logic. I might
Didn't
play it
Bowling
'cause of that.
Green? Didn't Bowling Green also upset someone last week? Might they be smelling their own shit as well?
Oh, a battle of shit
Notre Dame
smellers?
Battle of
Not
shit
Notre Dame
sniffers.
though. Notre Dame's a national team. Everybody loves
Although
them.
Bowling Green lost in 7 overtimes or whatever. I think that was the big game. They lost 59-57 on Saturday, and they got the shit kicked out of them by UCLA. But
Oh, they're going to be dejected. Okay, yeah, you're right.
They
Bowling
might
Green
be
plus
tired,
18.
guys.
they could be tired. The logic is
They're
Notre
between
Dame's on
18
the
and
road.
21. You don't get tired when you're that age.
They're
Yeah,
they're
literally.
kids and they have a week off. They don't get tired.
Sorry, Matt. What were you saying?
No. The logic is just fade the team that had the big upset or got the
I
big
like
upset.
it. I like it, bud. It's a great play.
Matt, I think we're in agreement on our next play as well. As Mississippi State goes into LSU.
Can
What do you
I
got
get
there?
Matt's
The two
analysis?
of you
on
are
this one?
holding hands.
Can I
Yeah,
get
we got the
analysis
next
on this?
three.
No, this is easy. This is easy for Matt. LSU beat Florida State, and they looked
No.
good in that game, and they're gonna beat Mississippi State because they're good.
LSU lost to Florida State, but otherwise,
Did they lose?
Yeah.
The blocked
Yeah,
extra
that-
point.
It was
Blocked
like
extra
1 point. Oh yeah, that's right. They blocked the extra point. Sorry.
Yeah.
So
Bad
my
memory,
logic,
man. Bad memory. It's tax season.
my logic here is I just like LSU being a dog, right? Like at home against a team that's pretty equivalent. Look, Mike Leach is exciting. Everyone loves Mike Leach. He has a style that's like conflicting to the SEC football style, I just think Boudreaux Kelly's going to get a second win at home, right? Brian's going
I
to
think
whip out the fake accent, challenge writers to pay the pace for fines if they show up late. He's going to be confident and go get a win. There's
Yeah,
not this is not an
Jaden
eloquent
Daniels.
thing.
I'm gonna fade you guys on this one.
Good.
I'm gonna fade you guys on this one. I don't like LSU.
I like
I'm not
LSU's
saying you
QB
don't like him.
if he plays.
He stinks, dude. I'm going to go out there early. Like he could not throw the ball to great wide receivers in a game against Florida State, and our corners weren't great. We were good in the front seven. We were making things stressful, but the corners did not play well. I don't think he's very good. He's a good runner. I'll give him that. Yeah. Danny looks like he wants to yell at me. He hit the microphone so he didn't have to yell at me.
Andy, you have anything to add on that one?
Just that Mississippi State's going to throw it around with Will Rogers, right? And LSU was a little weak at corner coming into the season, but their young transfer corners have actually played decent. I mean, I know they haven't played a quarterback of Will Rogers' caliber yet, but they're also getting a transfer cornerback from Ohio State back from injury to bolster that position. So hopefully he makes a difference as well and stops them from throwing the ball over the field, which is a possibility. But I'm hoping they keep it close.
That's exactly the same reasoning I had. A lot smarter.
I'm picturing the Thelma and Louise like gif of the two of them holding hands and driving off a cliff in the convertible, and I really feel like that's yours and Matt's picks this week. You guys are like
Boudreaux and Mike Leach.
You guys both on Bowling Green, both on LSU, and both on our next matchup, which is Texas Tech NC State.
Do you want to go, Andy?
The only thing I've got on this one is that NC State basically had a bye last week. They played Charleston Southern. They won by 1 million. And Texas Tech went to multiple overtimes with Houston. So I know I just made the joke about how college kids don't get tired, but there is a chance that those Texas
They're going to be tired this one.
Could be a little bit tired. And like I said, NC State basically had a bye, so they should be nice and fresh. And they're just a better team. So I got it less than 2 scores. I got it under 10. So I'm going to lay the points.
Yeah.
9.5 would be a good line for that one.
So Texas Tech should have lost that game. 4th and 20. Houston had Texas Tech to 4th and 20, and they got 22 yards on a play. That was my head exploded considering I had the Houston money line and I was touting it all last week. I did tie. I did get the draw on the bet, but everything I watched from that Texas Tech team, I'm underwhelmed. I think NC State could dump truck them. I know everyone's going to have the bad taste in their mouth because of East Carolina game, and I understand that first game of the year. I think East Carolina is really good. I think they're better than people expected. This game is going to be at Carter Finney. That's one of the worst places to play on the road in the ACC. The crowd is just like rabid. This isn't the fancy Tobacco Road crowd. This is the trash crowd of North Carolina, and they get at it. It's a great game. And I think NC State.
Yeah.
That's not very nice.
Matt's 100% correct.
I mean this in the most loving way. I've been to 2 games there, and they're always great. It's just it ain't North Carolina or a Duke game. It's a lot more rugged. It's fun.
Yeah.
But Devin Leary's going to show up. He's going to have.
It's like Myrtle Beach crowd, but not in Myrtle Beach.
It's a much more fun crowd.
NC State's another school that's been kind of patient with their coach. That he's had good years, up and down years, and the last 3 I think have been really good for them. They allow him to recruit and go through the down years and get the team back to where it should be. So I think Dave is it Doran, right? Doran, yeah, Dave Doran. I think he's a pretty good coach, and I think he's gonna just have him ready to play. And yeah, they got a great offense.
I'm gonna chime in here and just mention offhand. The Red Raiders are about plus 300.
I like it.
You want to, if you're feeling real spicy about your moneyline round robins, or you want to just throw a couple bucks away. I don't hate it. Everyone else on this podcast hates it, but I'm not everyone else.
I hate it. I'm everyone else.
No, buddy. I think if you're gonna make a play, that's an interesting play. They did show up okay against Houston, but I think
you're better off betting Cal to beat Notre Dame or Nebraska to beat Oklahoma if you want to do like a really spicy one like that. This is no.
I mean, what's Nebraska money line? Is it better than plus 300?
It's gotta be.
Probably.
Because of
14 points.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to throw you the Memphis-Arkansas State game very succinctly. I think Memphis is pretty good. They played a pretty good Navy team. They lost to Will Rogers in Mississippi State, we talked about. I am only playing this game for one reason. One damn reason. Do you know the quarterback at Arkansas State?
No.
Why would you? His name is James Blackman. And I can't believe James Blackman
no.
plays college football.
What?
No.
Let me verify this, but I believe he is still.
I think you're right. They had a good receiver last year too, and he's gone.
Despite the quarterback. And look, they played Ohio State well enough. I guess. But yeah, James Blackman is the starting quarterback. I'm just gonna fade.
Yeah.
What's his weight listed at right now? Did he get up to 100 pounds yet?
180.
Wikipedia says 195.
Oh,
That's a lie. That's a lie. James Blackman has always been 6'6", 97 pounds.
And look,
6'6", 97
I don't
pounds.
like shitting on a kid because he's actually seems like a good kid. He's just a bad quarterback, right? And I'm gonna lay the points. This could be the dumbest reason. I hope Arkansas State wins, and I have to eat shit on this podcast next week. But
I hope you have a shitty grin.
To speak of betting against James Blackman, as a Miami fan, we loved playing against James Blackman because he was tall and thin, and he just sat back there flat-footed and let us come at him. I think we got 2 defensive ends maybe 3 defensive ends drafted in the first round, just sacking James Blackman over and over again.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Seeing James Blackman play at FSU made me feel like it was okay that Miami had Stephen Morris.
I would take 100 Stephen Morrises.
Stephen Morris was good, man. Don't shit on Stephen Morris.
I just mean, these guys are definitely not.
He had a 9-year career as a backup in the NFL. Stephen Morris is probably still a third stringer floating around the NFL.
I would take
somewhere.
Ja'Cory Harris all
He's got a
day
cannon.
over.
He's probably like playing football for Germany or something.
It's a little much, man.
So Matt, Thelma, we had a good ride, but I'm actually going to jump out of the car here real quick before it goes over the cliff. I'm going to go back and find Brad Pitt. You have fun with that Arkansas State.
That's the only reason, right? I'm gonna lay the points with Memphis. I think Arkansas State's been playing okay. But Memphis is that's just the pick. I got nothing more elegant to put. That's it.
So Andy, are you hopping on the Arkansas State? You're hopping on the Blackman train, or you just wanted to hang out with Brad Pitt and you don't want to be mad anymore?
Fair enough.
I don't have a play, but do you guys remember what Brad Pitt looked like in that movie?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh yes. When Al first said that Thelma and Louise, I think the only thing going through my head was, damn, Brad Pitt was hot.
Beautiful.
And Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon.
Yeah.
Put me in the middle of that convertible. I will go off the cliff with the 2 of them. I'm die happy, man. I'm good. Matt, you're on the next game too.
I'd rather stay on lane.
This one is another bad one. Nevada is a surprisingly good shitty team. Andy and I have been beating a drum about how bad Nevada was going to be all year, and they haven't been that bad. But Iowa, I'm just going to bet the under. Just whatever the under was in this game, I was going to bet it. 40 points, sure. I think there's a chance that Nevada scores like 2 points, 3 points. So I'm going to wait to see what the team totals are, and I'm going to probably bet Nevada under as long as it's like 7.5.
I like this play, Matt. Iowa defines Big Ten football. They really do.
Yeah.
And 40 points. What's that? 5 touchdowns, a field goal, and a safety.
Yeah.
How many Iowa touchdowns is that?
That is. That's a lot. That's a lot. I cannot believe. All right, Andy, I know I'm going to steal this concept from another podcast. What is better, Iowa's offense or Nebraska's defense? And credit to Cover 3. I know they talked about this.
I haven't listened to it. I don't know. Yeah. Which one's better?
Which one would you prefer to have?
Iowa.
You want the Iowa offense over Nebraska's defense. Yikes.
Like players or personnel coaches or like
just the
as
scheme.
it is,
What you've seen so
today.
far. What you've seen so far.
I mean, Iowa hasn't fired their coach yet. So, I mean, that
tells you.
They
cannot fire their coach. Kirk Ferentz is going to live and die.
He's locked in until 30-23, I think, right?
30-23. Yeah. He gets the family discount. All of his family members are getting paid. It's amazing. That team sucks. They should fire everybody. It's like, what was it? They had that panel to say, how can we make the football program better? And all the players said, get rid of the head coach. And then they just got rid of that panel. It's an amazing thing going on in Iowa. He is ingrained there. He's never leaving. Never.
You know what I love about an Iowa under? It's like it's just college football unders in general. It's like going to a gas station, buying one of those like hot dogs off the roller, but we're not talking like a 1 p.m. lunch. We're talking like that 10 p.m. hot dog. It's been on there all day. You know it's not going to do anything good to you.
Spoiler alert. It's not the first day it was on there.
That hot dog's been there for a season.
Then you get your ketchup and you slather it in ketchup, and you're sitting out there eating your hot dog, and you're wondering, why does this hot dog taste so bad? I want to return this. Let me talk to the manager. But you can't. The door's locked. You got to go through that little window. Anyway, I'm getting a little off the rail on this analogy here, but basically, it's just like embracing awfulness and like just living an awful existence and just being happy about it.
I thought the manager in that story was going to be Kirk Ferentz.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be the end. We should really edit this. We should really edit this and just finish the story with Kirk Ferentz being the manager.
And then in that window is Kirk Ferentz, and he says, "You cannot return this." Do some slicing.
That's great, Al.
Cut. Perfect.
Oh man, that was super original. I'm so glad you thought of that. Nobody else.
Oh.
All right. Let's keep it moving. Al, I think you've got to play on the Golden Knights heading down to fight the burrowing Owls of Florida Atlantic.
Yeah, Danny has sold me on Nkosi Perry and what is it, John Reese Plumlee, a UCF quarterback. I am not in love with. So give me the 9.5 points. FAU at home. The Fighting Willie Taggarts. See what they got. That's it. That's the whole play.
That's it. Let's go, baby.
Kosi had some talent. He was good on the clap. I told you guys about that. Kosi had some talent. He just, he was playing for a coach who thought that jewelry and necklaces were more important than offense, right? So maybe that playing for a coach that thinks that recruiting and getting guys to come to the school was more important than getting them to all know what the same play is. Yeah. What? Hold on. What? Matt, please remind me. This is the coach that actually had a player line up backwards on
that's
offensive
the schematic thing. It wasn't confusion. He wanted to confuse the defense by making the offense look confused. Yes.
It worked. Wow.
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't
confuse the shit out of me. I'll tell you that. Watch it.
Yeah, it got him to last, I think, the shortest tenure of any head coach ever at Florida State. I think
that's some Little Giants shit. Annexation of Puerto Rico.
It really is.
Annexation of Puerto Rico is a great play. I don't know why.
So listen, when FAU lines up and they're all frothing at the mouth, they don't have rabies. It's Alka-Seltzer and Willie Taggart up to his old shit.
All right, I think that's enough on this terrible game. Just fading Zach and Nate's happiness. Really
perfect.
So I'm going to take us to another terrible game. UTEP at New Mexico, and I am laying the points with UTEP. It's only 3. I think it should be above a touchdown. Actually, I have it closer to 10. So it's just too small of a number. I'm laying the 3.
I love it.
Andy,
I wish we would have talked about this game before it started because I'm definitely betting this game with you. Add my name to the list here. I'm betting this game.
We're gonna jinx your bet, but I love it. I'm in.
Yeah, no, I'm not jinxing it. Because I've been so hot for the last week.
Oh man, we got 3 out of 4 on UTEP. Oh, that doesn't bode well.
New Mexico sucks. Everybody should get more than 3 points against New Mexico.
I mentioned before we started recording that 2 of us is the sweet spot. If 2 of us agree, it's usually a really strong play. Once 3 or 4 of us jump on, we've actually been pretty bad. So hopefully we can break the streak with this one because I love this play. UTEP minus 3. It should be much bigger.
The only thing I have to add is that, Andy, you're like the Picasso of dog shit college football games. I don't even know if I think I scrolled the whole list. I don't even think this one jumped out at me. And you're like, boom, this game at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. There's going to be 18 better games to be watching, and you're going to be keeping an eye on fucking New Mexico.
Sidebar? You guys really only watch one game at a time? I generally have something on the big screen, and then I have my laptop too, which I have split into 4 games. And then the big screen, I'll switch to something else during commercials. I'm watching 5 or 6 games, at all times.
I bounce around on the TV between 2 or 3, whatever's on.
Miami's been home the last 2 weeks in the middle of the day, man. I've only been able to watch the one game.
And that's fair. But when you're at home, sitting on the couch, you're not just dialed into one game, right? You're jumping around.
I usually pick one game. I usually pick one game to put on the main TV, and I don't have other games on other screens, but I'm following them in the apps, on Action or I love I love the Action Network app. You get to say what you want about Darren Ravel,
Yeah.
but the rest of that Action Network app is fantastic.
I was actually telling somebody
BJ
that the other
soccer
day.
picks, man. BJ Cunningham soccer picks.
Hey, chill on that. Shh. Chill on that. He's
The
great.
way the app lets you track what you're on and how the games are going
Yeah.
just takes
Fantastic.
gambling to a whole nother level. So
Yeah.
The usability kind of suffers. I think they just like made some changes that makes it kind of annoying, but it is like
I like the new
unparalleled
interface
as
though.
far as bet tracking.
I like the new interface for choosing games.
Yeah, it's a good app.
When you're adding like they made it easier to find your sports when you're adding bets, which I thought was really nice.
We're gonna go jump real quick because I gotta pee. We're gonna jump to the game of the week: Miami at Texas A&M, 9 o'clock Saturday. Set your alarms, set your schedules, build your weekend around this one. Miami fan here, as well as Danny. I am fully laying the points with A&M -5.5. Hedging happiness is what I call this. If Miami covers, I hate it, but if Miami wins, I love it. And I think A&M's gonna. You could have this line at 15.5, and I'd probably still take A&M.
Why do you think that? I'm going to play devil's advocate, and
I disagree with Al fully here, like all the way. Yeah. So I just think that you're not paying attention to Miami. Our defense has been pretty good. I think that the play here is going to be first half under for sure. I think that the other play here would be after the first half, after the first quarter comes in at like 7 points or 10 points, then starting to bet the overs, because I think that this is going to be a live game that starts slow. I think the second half is going to be much higher scoring than the first half.
Yeah, that's where I think it's gonna get away from us.
I do not. I think that we can score with anybody. I think that if you think that a game can get away from us and we can't come back, then you just haven't been watching. Tyler Van Dyke is like
I
dropping
haven't
dimes
looked it
all
up,
over the
but
field.
I don't know what Miami's schedule or record is against SEC schools, but I don't think it's very good historically.
Well, it's a good thing we're not playing an SEC school. We're playing a Big 12 school. So,
all right,
hey,
all right,
real quick. Al just said he needs to wrap this up so he can pee. So I'm going to use my chuggy bet right now. Al, chug a beer, just to make it a little bit worse for you. There.
Yeah.
So Matt, sorry, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I'm just going to go a little bit
my
longer.
thought is here, this is going to look like a Big Ten game a lot of the game. I do think Miami has dude, Texas A&M has a great defense. Like, don't get it twisted. They made App State's life miserable. They can't. Texas A&M's problem is doing anything with Haynes King. I don't know how else to say this. Haynes King is not good. I went on a 2-minute rampage last time saying how bad he is, and he sucks. Jimbo needs to pivot. The good thing Jimbo does do is he can win one-score games and get that 4-6 minute drive to end the game and step on throats. I don't know if they can do it with this team. I would bet Miami. If I had to take a play, I think Miami's equally good on the offensive side. Defensive side, Texas A&M has more stars. Like, if you want to go with they have all the 5 stars and they're really good on defense.
Dude, Miami stars aren't stars until the season's over, man. We didn't know who most of the guys are. Who's our first round pick defensive end last year? Is a transfer from UCLA that was a nobody, and then he comes here.
Jalen Phillips.
Now he's like rocking it out for the Dolphins. There was another one that was like, he didn't play during the COVID year, but Rousseau. He was like a sophomore from Hialeah that nobody even heard of, and all of a sudden he's getting 12 sacks. Like, our stars pop out of nowhere sometimes.
I get
just
it.
because the SEC can afford the best players now we can maybe get in that game because we have a little bit more money showing up with that it's legal, you know. But
Spack's hitting, baby. Spack's hitting. I do think it's going to be a really interesting watch. I don't think it'll be an exciting watch, particularly. I think
it's gonna start in that Big Ten style. There's gonna be a lot of punts, I think, to start the game. But I think Restrepo has been pretty good for us. I think he's just been like, they've been able to find him space in the field, and Tyler Van Dyke hits him when he's open. Like, one of the things that I've noticed while at the game, I know that they've been bad teams, but like, they will cover our first 2 receivers, and Tyler Van Dyke will just find the third guy, man. He's like a really good quarterback that way. And I know that we won't necessarily have time again, you know, to go through all his progressions that way against Texas A&M, but we have an arsenal on offense, and we have a couple of decent running backs. I mean, I thought Jalen Knighton was going to be the guy this year, but he's not even one of our top few guys getting carries. There's a bunch of other guys taking. Yeah,
I mean,
there's a bunch
my
of other
big-
guys taking the load. So
My
Harris
big
from
question on
Franklin.
Miami is if their offensive line can handle the pressure that Texas A&M's defense is going to put on them, and can their receivers step up? Look, you guys have done really well finding third receivers against Southern Miss and Bethune-Cookman. This
Yeah,
ain't
where
that
you've had
shit.
time to.
This is going to be a very tight, quick window, and I think Tyler Van Dyke's great. I think he's super talented, and I think he has the capabilities to handle the game. I'm just saying it's going to be a different game. I would taper your expectations a little bit, but I do think Miami covers the 5.5. I don't feel confident enough to bet it, but I think it's going to be.
I think Miami wins the game. I think Miami wins the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say that your homer is showing, but if you're, I'd rather you take the money line and get that extra labor than take the 5.5 points.
Well, I'm giving out the 5.5 just in case, but I'm betting the money line.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see
Miami. I think Miami can hang with any team for 1/2. It's that.
No. You have been watching the games, but what we've been showing is that anybody can hang with us for a half, and then we leave.
Danny, you're talking about Bethune-Cookman and Southern Miss, and like, I understand they look good. Like I've seen them, I've watched the games, but like, that's not college football. That's glorified high school football.
That actually is college football, though. That's basically what college football is.
Okay, I think this one is going to be.
This is a harder game.
One of those ones that Miami's battling to stay in it, and it's sort of close at halftime, and then the wheels fall off in the second half.
It's possible, but I don't see A&M as that Alabama, Georgia, Clemson from a couple years ago level of team. I see them as that level of team that Miami is now up to.
But they're like
and we can compete with it.
Florida Gators. They're like
we're better than the Gators this year.
I don't know.
I think
it's too early to tell. I just look, guys. I think we're making it very complicated. I think this is going to be a really good defensive game, and someone's going to score a touchdown or a field goal late, and they're going to win the game. I think it's going to stay close. That's my point.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It's going to be a close game.
I hope I'm wrong.
Close game, and in a close game, I'd rather have the team getting almost a touchdown.
So
minus
5.5.
Or the money line that's going to be at almost plus 200 in a close game, where either team can win. It's a coin flip game. Plus 200 is going to be good.
They're going to have screaming practice on Friday. If you guys want to get out there at Kyle Field, where everyone lines up and starts practicing screaming. That shit is a cult. Texas A&M is a mega church. That masquerades as a football team and educational facility.
I just pictured Danny McBride like preaching to
exactly
to A&M. It really
with the white overall. Is he wearing the white overall?
Yes.
I love the white coverall.
All right.
Is his younger brother
one game left, right?
Yep, this is it.
Yeah, but
one game left to tie a bow on this thing, boys.
This is the easiest one because only one of you guys is wrong, and I can't see the top of the sheet right now. But the show
Al's
sheet.
on the other side from you, Danny.
Yeah, it's
Al's on the other side. Okay, well, Al, you're wrong, and Lincoln Riley is going to lose this game because Fresno State.
Listen, I mean, I'm going to make the case real quick for USC here. USC minus 12 is where the line was at when I decided to pick this one. You give me Williams and Jordan Addison, and that's a combination that I will go to war with. I'm fully on board.
Hot take, Al. Hayner is better than Caleb Williams.
That's a spicy one. That's a very spicy one.
He's a better college quarterback. He's a better college football quarterback. He is a better college football quarterback.
That's a spicier take than any of my drunken NFL takes I had last week.
Just because you were right on all those stupid.
Make sure you check out the NFL podcast. They're great, by the way. Everyone listening.
Yeah.
You could skip
my NFL pick. My NFL pick saved my week.
Podcast if you want.
But that's it. What's your guys' case for Fred?
I think Fresno State plays. I think Fresno State's going to play a similar level of offense. Look, USC's defense has been good. They still gave up a ton of points to Stanford. Look, that Stanford team's not great.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That Stanford team is good. They can hang with anybody in the Pac-12.
Then why the hell are you picking Fresno State? Why, Danny?
No, the Stanford team. The Stanford team from last week. I picked Stanford over them.
Okay. My point is, I do like Hainer. I like the Fresno State offense. I think they're going to make it a game. I think they get up to play USC. It's going to be that primetime late chase window. And I think 12.5 is too many points. Does USC win by 9 or 10? Sure. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. I think in Fresno, I think this game is going to be close. I think it's going to be close.
It's probably USC's toughest game yet.
Oh, definitely. This is tougher than the Stanford game. This team is better than that Stanford team.
Matt, you just said it's too many points, and you know what? I'm leaving Brad, and I'm gonna come jump back in the car with you.
Come on, baby.
Let's start off this.
Let's
You said too many points.
It's gonna turn to shit. There's 3 of us.
I got you guys right where I want you. Excellent. 3 of you on the other side. Love it.
And look, this could turn into a 30-point blowout quick, but I just don't think it will. I think this is going to be one of those games. And it's going to be a really fun chase window. It may not be the closest game. It may be a 2-score game the whole game, but that doesn't matter to me when I'm chasing, baby. 12 points is all I care about.
That's right, because if Fresno's down 3 touchdowns, we only need 1.
Yeah.
And Hainer can get you 1.
Ooh. If they backdoor this thing, I'm gonna be so pissed. That's how you guys are gonna get it. It's gonna be a last minute backdoor.
I did bad math.
Yeah, 12.5 is such a weird number too. It doesn't play to an advantage for anyone. And Vegas is really good. It'll probably be a 13-point game. They'll win by a touchdown, 2 field goals, or something dumb. But
no, they won't.
Do you guys have any chuggy bets you want to lock in officially for that you're willing to chug a beer for?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Let's see.
Are we doing our chuggy bet of the week?
Yeah.
If you have one for college.
I'm gonna take Western Kentucky plus 6.5. I feel really good about that play on Saturday at noon.
Yeah, you put the case really well on that one. I might even follow you in on that one. I'll wait till the moment and feel how it.
Buddy, see if it gets
to the moment, but.
I would say you might want to hold off on that because I'm seeing books that are 6.5 plus money, which means it's possible it goes to 7. And if it moves to 6, it's not that big of a move. So I like the play, and I'm gonna play it either way. But I might hold off and see if it gets to a 7. So
I'm gonna put this out in the ether. Western Kentucky plus 7. That's my chuggy bet of the week. Got it.
I'm thinking UTEP -3. We just talked about it a whole bunch. We might have the curse of 3 on that one, but we're gonna break it. I'm taking UTEP -3.
Matt, you could always grab like a Smirnoff Ice or something and just pay the juice for the plus 7.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I'd take a shot of hot sauce and I got a spicy take.
Yeah. I'm gonna do Miami.
Danny, I love that you and I are on competing chuggy bets. We're guaranteeing that somebody's going to be chugging a beer every week on this show.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Appreciate you being here. Check out our NFL podcast as well. We'll have picks for all the pro games this weekend. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe, hit the bell, tell a friend, comment, interact. Follow us on TikTok. We add some additional plays, a money line round robin, some additional stuff that'll be on TikTok that's not in the pod. So appreciate your support, and good luck, everybody.
Cheers.
Yeah, what's everybody drinking?
Show us what we're working with.
Usually Busch Light, but today.
Danny, is that Polish? What is that?
No, this is Orpheus Brewing Company. It's a place up in Atlanta. My buddy works there. It says Transmigration of Souls, and it will transmigrate your soul.
It's a good one.
All right.
Cheers,
Good luck, everybody.
All right.